You have an ad, and I asked the governor about this as well. I believe it says if you're a one-issue voter and taxes are your issue, New Jersey is not the state for you. I may have that wrong, but that's the gist of it. What is the message you are trying to send there?
Very simple, Steve. Anyone from New Jersey, anyone that understood New Jersey, anyone that was in touch, not out of touch with New Jerseyans, would never say that. Everyone knows we're the highest taxed people in the nation. And we think Phil Murphy got a pass 4 years ago, but he's been in office now for 4 years nearly. And we're going to remind people who he is. Someone who thinks if taxes are your issue, we're probably not your state. He's basically telling you to leave.
You know, I asked the governor, and we spent a lot of time, and by the way, neither candidate saw the other candidate's interview, but I'm going to put this out there, and it's no surprise to anyone. I asked the governor extensively about his leadership during COVID. You've been incredibly critical of the governor as it relates to his leadership regarding COVID. But here's the question. What exactly would you have done? Would you do differently?
A couple of things, Steve. The very first deaths in this country took place in Washington State, and in Washington State, they took place in the nursing home. From the very beginning, we knew who the most vulnerable were. And yet Phil Murphy ordered nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients. You even have a tape recording out there acquired through an Oprah request of operators telling the governor, you do realize if we do this, people are going to die. And then making matters worse, the governor never treated nursing homes as he did hospitals. He didn't get them PPEs, personal protective equipment, didn't get them test kits, and just making matters worse. It's the reason why New Jersey leads the nation in nursing home deaths, more than 8,000. So that's certainly something I would have done different. Listen, Steve,
before you move on, Jack, before you move on to something else, the governor made it clear that the Department of Health and other state agencies that regulate the nursing homes, they pressed them on whether they would separate those patients, which he said, by the way, they're not just patients, that was their home. They were in a nursing home. He said they committed that they were doing those things. The nursing homes did not do those things.
Steve, if that were the case, then why did he grant them legal immunity? Families can't even seek justice. He granted them legal immunity because he asked them to do the impossible. And if you talk to nursing home operators, that's exactly how they feel about the situation.
Go on to another issue as it relates to COVID. Let's deal with the business community. The shutdowns, the restrictions, the governor has argued, and many agree with him, Assemblyman, that they were the right thing to do as it relates to public health being our highest priority. Somehow you seem to be saying that you would not have done those things. Why not, A? And B, how would that protect the public health, particularly during the height of this pandemic?
Let me be clear, Steve. As governor, I will always promote, preserve, and protect the public health. What infuriated a great many New Jerseyans were the inconsistencies in the executive orders during the lockdown. If you owned a jewelry store, Steve, on Main Street, he shut you down. He said you were non-essential, even though that's how you paid all your bills. But yet the jewelry counter at Costco was open. If you sold bikes, if you had a bike shop, you weren't allowed to sell bikes. But Walmart was allowed to sell bikes. It was those kinds of inconsistencies. And the result has been that 1 out of 3 small businesses in New Jersey, mom and pop shops that were in families for decades, have closed their doors forever. And so here we are today. So yes, we need to save lives. And I'm not suggesting that the pandemic— What would you do differently?
I'm sorry for interrupting, Jack. What would you do differently? That's the thing. Because he was in that seat. He had to make those tough decisions. If you were there, are you saying you would not have shut any of those businesses down? You would not have had those restrictions? What would be different?
What would be different is there would be consistency in my executive orders. And there was no consistency in these executive orders. I would never have forced nursing homes to take in COVID-19 patients. And I would have given small businesses an equal opportunity to survive as he did big businesses. People looking for consistency in the executive order, Steve, and there are a whole lot of inconsistencies, and that's what infuriated people.
You know, speaking of consistencies, I want to follow up on something. You've often said that Donald Trump is not running for governor, you are running for governor, but consistency. In December of 2015, you had said about Donald Trump preys on the worst instincts and fears of people. I do not believe that Donald Trump is fit to be president. If I'm not mistaken, did you vote for Donald Trump in 2020?
I did vote for Donald Trump in 2020, but Steve, if I remember correctly from the Democratic presidential primaries, Kamala Harris had a lot of things to say about Joe Biden, and today she's his vice president. So we know how politics works, but the president's policies worked for the nation. And
Did they work for New Jersey?
Let's give Donald Trump credit for warp speed, which brought the vaccine to America. You never hear Phil Murphy ever give the president credit for warp speed, Project Warp Speed, and producing the vaccine, which the governor touts. And I'm vaccinated. I promoted my vaccination, and I encourage people to get vaccinated.
So I want to be clear. You believe that Donald Trump's policies, and the only reason we're talking about Donald Trump is not about politics, but about issues. Do you believe that Donald Trump stopping the Gateway tunnel from being built is good for New Jersey? And the follow-up to that is, do you believe that Donald Trump, who in fact supported the limitation, the cap on state and local tax deductions at $10,000, which is devastating in a state like New Jersey with such high taxes, those are two policies, Assemblyman, that you believe that Donald Trump did that were good for New Jersey?
Steve, what I said is his policies worked for the nation. As someone who wants to be governor, my job is to advocate for the people of New Jersey, and I publicly disagreed with Donald Trump on his desire to do offshore drilling. We're not going to have offshore drilling off of our Jersey shore, his lack of support for the Gateway project, and his elimination of the SALT deduction. Those are three things that I would advocate fervently for here in New Jersey, and I disagreed with Donald Trump on those things. I said that his policies work for the nation, but he had three positions that didn't work for New Jersey.
Also brought to you by RWJ Barnabas Health. Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey. Here when you need us most, now and always. Fedway Associates, Inc. PSE&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future. New Jersey Institute of Technology, NJIT, makes industry-ready professionals in all STEM fields. Choose New Jersey. The Turrell Fund, supporting Reimagine Childcare. The New Jersey Board of Public Utilities Clean Energy Program. And by IBEW Local 102, lighting the path, leading the way.